that you must respect yourself enough to discipline yourself to get this results. The reason you keep making excuses every day is because you do not have respect for yourself. Hey fam, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And I'm so excited to be here again. So this video is a continuation from the last video that I made when I talked about breaking free from circles, and I recommended that one of the ways to break free from circles, which was one of the points at the later end, which I promised that I was going to talk about in my next video. And that point was on building effective systems. So that is what we are going to talk about today. Building effective systems. So I'd like to take this quote from a popular author. If you have read Atomic Habits, his name is James Clear. And he says something so profound. I'll be reading it from my notepad. It says, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This is so profound. He said, you don't rise to the level of your goals, right? That is far from it. You fall to the level of your systems. That means your systems are very, very important. They are very crucial in achieving a goal, in living the excellent blueprint design life that you want for yourself. Systems are really important. So nobody stumbles into success spontaneously. No one stumbles into success spontaneously. You would have had to have systems in place. There is no overnight success. That's something people have refused to come to terms with. There is no overnight success. In fact, when you hear of overnight success, two things are involved. Either that person must have been putting in the work in so much silence, in so much obscurity, there was no visibility for the person had been working, and then opportunity then met with preparedness, and then there was success. Or it could have been a case of just coming into what is termed success in the wrong way. So there is no overnight success. Success is an accumulation of effective fail-proof systems. If you don't have systems, I don't know, you are just going to be living life as it comes. You need to have systems if you are going to get into your next level. So, what is a system? So, I have like a number of definitions, but I'm just going to stick with one that really tailors into what we're talking about today. And I would also read that from my notepad. So, it says a system is a set of habits or tiny actions that work together to simplify your life or help you get real work done. Let me take it again. A system is a set of habits or tiny actions that work together to simplify your life or help you get real work done. So, systems are a set of habits that brings you from your vision board to execution. If you don't have systems, you're not going to have that easy transition. You're going to keep trying and failing, or making progress that is not sustained. What system does is that it gives you the platform and the foundation for sustained results, sustained progress. So you are not doing it today and tomorrow you are not doing it, right? You're not consistent today and tomorrow you're not consistent. For you to be consistent, which is really very important for execution of your goals, your visions, or whatever it may be, for you to be consistent, you need to have systems that are put in place. And before you have systems, you can't just have systems because you want to have systems. There must be a goal in sight. There must be a goal in sight. That's why you are having that system. So a case in example, you want to write an exams. So for you to want to write an exams, and maybe you are someone that has so many other things that you have that are also calling for your attention. So for you to be able to attend to these many things that are calling to your attention and also excel in your exams, you must have systems. So where there are no goals, there won't be any system. Where there is no vision, there won't be any system. So what is your start point? You need to identify what the goal is. You need to identify what the goal is, what the vision is, what is it that you want to achieve. You first need to identify that. When you identify that, you then need to say, what are the things that will bring me to my goal? What actions do I need to take? When you then recognize the actions that you need to take, that action or those actions is what you then begin to feed into your system. Now, I like to think of system as what you do in a day. In your daily life, what are you doing? What are you doing to bring you to where you want to be? In your daily life, what habits have you started? What habits have you kept to bring you to the place that you want to be? So, like I said before, systems are really important. Nobody comes into success spontaneously. There must be a system in place. So, as humans, there's something that I know: we are multifaceted. I don't know if I pronounce that well, but when I mean multifaceted, I mean at every season of our lives, there are many things that we, you know, have the responsibility to do. We are obligated to do. So, for instance, you may be, someone that has a job. You have a job. You have a family. You have personal career goals that you want to meet. Do you see? And probably you're also someone that serves in church or has some sort of volunteering activities, right? So having an effective system will make you not let any of these areas of your life suffer. If you don't have systems, you will tend to get into overwhelm because you have so many things you're doing. You have so many things that you have put your heart to do. So if you don't have systems, you're going to get into overwhelm, right? So take for a case an example, a young lady, career driven, has a very demanding job and also has a family to take care of and also has personal visions and goals. She or he, I think I said a young woman, she wants to achieve. Where there are no systems, these things will suffer. So, like I said, the first thing you need to do is that you need to identify what goal you are pursuing, what vision you are trying to establish, or you need to envision what kind of life do I want to have? What kind of life do I see myself living? You need to envision these things, and this is what will then lead you to say, okay, I need a system. What do I put in place? So, another thing that systems do is that systems help you manage your time. Time is a very limited resources. There is nobody on earth that has more than 24 hours a day. And you then think of it, 24 hours a day, and you have so many things. I mean, the other time I was at work and I was like, it's like 24 hours is no longer enough. So just imagine having so much to do, having so many areas of your life for you to thrive in with limited time. If you don't have systems, some areas of your life will suffer. And let me also tell you, do you know that systems is not something new? Even our Lord Jesus Christ, he had systems. The Bible made mention of a part where it says, and he rose up early in the morning as his custom was and went out to a very solitary place to pray. Observe, he says, as his custom was. Jesus had systems. He had systems. He knew that at XYZ time, I would need to go to a solitary place and have fellowship with my Father and have communion with my Lord. Jesus had systems, because if you don't have systems, that is zero time management, right? So you need to understand that you need systems. So now, how to set up an effective system, or when you are thinking of building or setting up an effective system, you need to understand that no systems are the same. As a human, we all have different seasons of our lives. So a system that works in X season may not necessarily work in Y season. So before you get ahead and begin to try to put systems in place, you need to understand, what season am I in? What season am I currently in? And in this season, what is priority for me? Because best believe it, we all have so many things, so many good things around us that we need to do. But the truth is that not all those good things are priority. So, according to the particular season you are in your life right now, you then need to say, what is priority for me? Let me give an example. As a single lady, what would be priority to me would not be what would be priority to someone who is married. As a young man who is working, what is priority to you may not be what is priority to someone who is probably in his 50s and has children or something. It may not be the same priority. So you then need to first understand, what season am I in? What season am I in? What is important to me in this season? What must I be doing in this season? You know that our life is it's not just, what's the best way to explain this? It's precept upon precept, season by season. No two seasons are the same. And all of the seasons, all of the precepts brings you to your place of destiny. Right. So you need to understand, you need to ask yourself, what season am I in and what is priority to me in this season? This, by the time you establish this, it then fits into how you build your system. Right. So that's the first thing to do. And the next thing to do is, after you have determined what is priority to you in this season, you then need to build systems around this priority. What do I mean by that? You then need to begin to build habits that would make you achieve these priorities. For instance, let's say, let me use an example of someone that wants to start creating content. You have a 9 to 5, you want to start creating content because it's important, because probably is one of the things that you need to do. It's priority to you. Your job is priority to you. Your health is priority to you. So this is me giving an instance. So when you have spotted all those things that are priorities to you, what then do you then do? You then say, okay, I have a job, and this job takes XYZ time. Between this time and this time, I am going to be working. Between this time and this time, I'm going to be having my quiet time. Between this time and this time, I am going to be batch recording my content. Between this time and this time, I am going to edit my content. Between this time and this time, I am going to schedule this content for upload. Because I say this out of experience, I have a podcast, right? And one of the things that really made me go really inconsistent on my podcast was because I did not create a system around it. I didn't schedule. Sometimes discipline is boring, but it's boring. However, it is going to get you the result. So you need to be able to say, how do I, what habits do I put in place? Don't play with scheduling. Don't play with scheduling at all. Don't play with scheduling. Have schedule your time. Block things on your calendar. By 3 to 4 a.m., I'll be waking up to study the Word of God. By 4 to 5, I'll be praying. By 5 a.m., I should be taking a 30-minute workout. So you need to then do that. And then you say, okay, so this is me still using the first example that I used. And then you say, okay, twice monthly, I'm going to batch record 7 videos twice monthly, so that my YouTube channel or whatever platform you're using can keep running. These are systems. So one thing that systems does is that it runs, it keeps operating even when you are not there. So that is why it is really, really important for you to keep systems, right? So the next thing I'm now going to say is that after you have, determined what season in your life you're in, you have spotted out what priorities in your life right now that you need to be paying attention to, you have then gone ahead to, schedule the things that you need to do. You've gone ahead to probably block your calendar. You've gone ahead to create systems, right? The next thing you need to do, which is very important, is that you must respect yourself enough to discipline yourself to get these results. You must respect yourself enough to keep to your system, to keep to your schedule. Because the thing is that it's not just about setting up systems. For something to become a system, it should have been something you've done over time and consistently. And one of the things that, makes people not achieve their goal is inconsistency. And I listened to someone, and the person said the reason you do not achieve your goal, the reason you keep making excuses every day, is because you do not have respect for yourself. The person went ahead to give an example. On your employment letter or your offer letter, you were to be in the office by 8 a.m. You do everything within your power to be in the office by 8 a.m. But if you say over the weekend by 8 a.m., I'm going to be waking up to read a chapter of a certain book that I need, right? You then tend to give an excuse for not waking up and getting on to reading that book by 8 a.m. The only reason that is happening is because you do not have respect for yourself. So, for your systems to work, you need to value yourself. You need to respect yourself enough to say, I know what my future is, and I'm going to partner with myself. I'm going to make this work. If you don't make this work, no one is going to make it work for you. You need to make it work. You need to respect yourself enough. And I would give myself for an example. I would say that before now, I did not just respect myself. I would carry on other people's projects with so much seriousness. But when it came to my own projects that were not work related, that were personal projects, I would give myself different reasons why I cannot do this. Excuse upon excuse. And when I heard that person say that thing, I said, indeed, you do not have respect for yourself. So after setting up your system, you need to respect yourself enough to pull through with those systems. So you must make up your mind to do it. You must discipline yourself. And you must, if you have said, I'm going to be waking up, my day starts by 4 a.m., do not snooze your alarm. Do not snooze your alarm. Do not snooze your alarm. Wake up by 4 a.m. and get to it. The body may not, align at first, but consistently doing it over and over and over again, your body will get used to that routine and that habit. So please, you need to respect yourself enough to pull through with your goals. See where you are going to, see that vision, see who you'll be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and know that if you do not put on the work now, if you did not put in the work now, it will always be a wish, it will always be a dream, it will always be a desire that does not come into manifestation. And then lastly, I think this point should have come before the point on respect yourself. When you are setting up systems, you need to set up very realistic systems. Do not put too many things, do not choke yourself. You need to make this system very, very, very realistic. And one of the ways you make your system realistic, like I said, prioritize. You also can make use of habit stacking. Habit stacking is, um, getting a current habit, good habits, a current habit that you're already onto, and then stacking new habits on that. And maybe I may talk about that in another video. Habit stacking, that's one of the ways to make realistic systems, right? So you must make it realistic. Don't set up systems that are not realistic. That is your number one recipe for failure. Don't set up systems that are not realistic. Set up systems that are very realistic, that are achievable, right? That are measurable. You need to set up those kinds of systems, right? And then the last thing I'm going to be talking about. So, after you have set up your system, you've put your system in motion, from time to time, you need to reevaluate, is the system working? The scheduling, is it working? You need to do that check. You need to reevaluate your system. If it's working, perfect. If there's something to make it better, please do that. If something is not working, take it out. You need to reevaluate. Don't just put in a system and disappear and say, I've done what they've asked me to do. Put in the system, reevaluate that system. And like I said, as humans, we operate in seasons, in different seasons. Once you realize that you have pivoted into another season, you then want to go back to your system and then begin to tweak things around to suit the next season. All right, fam. I enjoyed telling you about this building system, and I hope you also enjoyed listening to me talk about systems. So please, beyond listening to me, I want you to take action. I want you to pick up your pen, your paper, your jotter, your journal, and begin to say, this is my season, this is where I am right now, realistically, and this is where I want to be. What do I put in place? Till I come your way in my next video, stay blessed. Bye.